Okay, this is the Becoming a Knight reading with questions. How a boy became a knight in medieval times. For almost 700 years, between the 9th and 16th centuries, knights were the lords of the battlefields, admired and respected for their fighting abilities and for their chivalry and courage. So how did a boy in these centuries become a knight? The rule of birthright. The first requirement for a boy to become a knight was the requirement of his heritage. Only boys born to certain men were allowed the opportunity to become a knight. These requirements were usually that the boy be the son of a knight, the son of a lord, a wealthy merchant, or someone who held a title and a position in the court of the king or a lord. So again, the main thing is the boy had to be the son of a knight, lord, or someone who held a title. I'm gonna highlight the word title there. That's important. Where the training took place. Contrary to popular belief, the king did not train boys to become knights. This was the responsibility of the king's lords, barons, and knights. Each of these men held titles, land, and manors, and it was the lord's manor that the boy would go to train. So did the king train the knights? The king did not train them to become knights. Over the centuries, what a knight was expected to do changed, and chivalry did not come to the picture until the late Middle Ages. Training begins as a page. So when you're a knight, or you're going to become a knight, or you're a kid who's born the son of a knight, you start out as a page. At around the age of 6 or 7, a boy who was of noble heritage would report to the local lord's castle and manor to begin his training as a knight. There he would learn to host a host of basic skills to make him a well-rounded and educated knight. He would learn the fundamentals of the court life, such as table manners, care and maintenance of armor and weapons, and how to care for a horse. I like this one. Table manners. He would also learn how to read and how to appreciate music or even play the lute. His training would begin in the martial arts with his learning how to hunt and how to hawk. So they would learn care and maintenance of armor, weapons, how to care for a horse, how to read, appreciate music, play a lute, martial arts, hunting, and how to hawk. The page becomes a squire. So after that, it's kind of like school for knights. At around the age of 13, the boy started to develop the body, mentality, and strength abilities of manhood, kind of like high school. He was promoted to a squire. Go back to that. Here is the picture. That looks like a royalty, and this looks like a knight. And he was then assigned as the personal assistant to a knight, and would focus on the combat arms of knighthood. He would then get intensive training in weapons, armor, and tactics, and mounted combat. That means riding a horse. He was also allowed to carry a small sword and a shield with him as a symbol of his status as a squire or a knight in training. Becoming a knight, the ceremony of knighthood. The ceremony of becoming a knight would often last several days and could include a fasting or a vigil where the knight would engage in prayer, contemplation for a day or a night or longer. And then there would often be elaborate feasts and hearty discussions with lords and knights about chivalry, courage, religion, and the nature of being a knight. During the actual knighting ceremony, the knight would swear allegiance to God and to his lord, and he would receive presents such as a sword, spurs, armor, and a cloak. That's a jacket or big coat. At the end of the ceremony, the king or a high-ranking person of the village would tap the squire on the shoulders with the flat side of the sword blade, and he would become a knight. In modern times, we have a very romanticized view of knights. There is a certain mystery around the idea of knighthood. It was a serious path that a boy embarked on, and something he spent his whole childhood striving for, and his whole adult life improving. The life of a knight was a constant vigilance, keeping an eye open for trouble, in combat, and constant striving towards improvement in the eyes of others. Sure, I would say. So, according to the second paragraph, the boy must be the son of a knight, lord, wealthy merchant, or someone who held the title and position in the court of the king or a lord. From what you've already learned about knights, why would they have to be from these well-off families? Well, probably because they already know the role, so they grow up learning the role. So something about that. They grow up already learning the role, duties of a knight. Something like that. Type in your own words, but something to make sure that they already know the roles of a knight. Looking at the picture, what do you think is happening in the picture? Somebody is being, the boy or the man is being knighted. As a page, what do you think would be the hardest part for you? Well, probably all that schooling, all the learning things you don't want to learn, kind of like what we do now when you complain about school. What would be the best part of training for you as a squire, and why? And why would they celebrate when a boy became a knight? Well, it seemed like when you finish all your schooling, you have a graduation type of thing. All right, so that's it for the night questions. You need to go into Schoology and answer those questions in your own words.